Let's do 911 real quick, honey. Real quick. I'm not in the mood to be out here all day. We start off with a family moving into a neighborhood. They just got here, honey. The neighbor house done blew up. Neighbor house go boom. And for some reason, the white man and his daughter, because the wife recently passed away, they start walking towards the explosion. And then they see another neighbor house go boom. And now they ducking down. He holding on to her. Then they turn around and their house, where the son is, he upstairs, it go boom too. Like an 808. Like Black. You know, this is not a traditionally black show, so I'm not expecting all black viewership. Black is a group from the early 2000s, BLAQUE, I think. And they have a song called Boom Like an 808. Anyway, girl, it explodes and they're like, oh no, Jesus, Alex! Because Alex is in the house upstairs. And I was like, look, somebody better get Alex out of there. It ain't looking too good for Alex. Anyway, they move on. Oh, they tried to call 911 before we move on. They tried to call 911 and the power lines was there. The number you have called has been disconnected. And I said, Lord, did the 911 not pay their bill this month? What happened? What happened? Anyway, we move on. They having a school, I don't want to say school assembly or what's the word? A field trip, I guess, to the firehouse for Athena Bernadine's son and Captain Bobby's soon-to-be stepson. They having this, you know, demonstration about the fires and how to put them out and what you're supposed to do and do blah blah blah. And it goes very well, except we hear Harry telling one of his friends that you know, the friend is like, I can't believe your dad is the fire chief. And he's like, yeah, it's so cool. He puts out fires and, you know, all this fun stuff. And Harry's biological homosexual father overhears him talking about it and gets in his feelings. And I'm just like, I don't understand. I don't understand. You didn't feel some kind of way when you was bringing your husband or your boyfriend over to the function. If Harry would have, you know, liked your boyfriend, it would have been all fine. But because Athena Bernadine's man is all fun and having a good time, you're mad. It didn't make no sense to me. Moving along. Everything blowing up. 911 is down. Emergencies all over the place. They got to go back old school. So they got walkie-talkies and they got maps and stuff. So they putting stuff on the map and hollering out to the walkie-talkie. Breaker 19. Stuff. Pimp down. Pimp in distress. And the dispatchers have to actually look at a map and figure out how to tell the folks to get to certain places. It wasn't working very well, but they did what they could. At some point, the FBI shows up. They all look like children to me. And that's saying a lot, because I'm a child. You know, I'm 24. I'm not old enough to look at folks and say, they look like kids. But they look like kids to me. But they were FBI, and they trying to figure out if it's the Russian hackers done hack 911 or what the problem is. And whatever, girl, I didn't care. Alex Trebek was here, you know, chimney at home watching the news, recovering from being stabbed. He can't catch a break. And he's watching the news, and I hear the news announcer, reporter, and I'm like, that sound like Alex Trebek. And then they show the TV, and it is Alex Trebek. And I'm like, well, look at God. I hope he's doing all right. Y'all know he got the cancer. We praying him through. Let's see. In the meantime, there's this couple, honey, this older couple having a baby, and her water break in the lobby of what looked like maybe an office building or a hotel or something. And they just lay her out in the middle of the lobby for her to have this baby. Me and my mama both was like, can't we drag her behind a desk or something, pull her over to the side? She's just in the middle of the lobby having this baby. They dispatched the EMTs over to the function, girl. She has the baby, and she get ready to, you know, right before she has the baby, she's like, something's wrong with the baby, something's wrong with the baby, it's not right, something's wrong, I can't do it. And me and my mama both was like, it's a little too late. She was 39 weeks pregnant. There's not much more after 39 weeks. There's not a lot past 39 weeks. If you was maybe 20 weeks, 7 weeks, you would have plenty of time. 20 weeks is a little late to be deciding you don't want to have this baby, but you know, 7 weeks, 4 weeks, somewhere in there, you know, you got a little time. While, you know, depending on your state and your laws. But you had 39 weeks. This ain't the time. Anyway, girl, they're like, no, it's fine. She has the baby. Henrietta Hen, she's looking at the baby. She's like, he's perfect. Ain't nothing wrong with this baby. And then the mama just whoop, go out. I'm like, oh no, get up. So she, I guess her blood pressure just gave up on her, honey. She drops on out. And I said, well, she hemorrhaging. My mama like, no, it's a heart thing. She was hemorrhaging. I know. And, you know, they carrying on to the hospital, and her heart rate just flatlines, just gives out. Oh, girl, my elbow scraping up against this little faux leather on the, whatever, y'all don't care. But yeah, her heart rate just gives smooth out. So Hen is giving, you know, 1, 2, 3, stay alive, you know, giving her little chest pumps and things. And they get to the hospital, you know, they have to call down to the hospital because, again, ain't nothing working. They call down to the hospital, and the black lady surgeon is there ready in position. They get there, and she says, well, how long has she been down? And they tell her, and she said, well, call it, she dead. And Hen is not ready to, you know, give up. She's really just steady. Before I let you go, you know, giving heart beats to this woman. Eventually, you know, she cries and gets up off of her, and, you know, the husband now is like, oh Lord, what I'm gonna do with this baby? I ain't got no wife. He puts the baby on her chest, and I said, well, is she gonna come back to life? You can't put the baby on the mama chest and she don't be like, all right, now I'm not even gonna be dead. I got to get up, raise this baby. So he put the baby on her chest, and then you hear beep, and I'm like, all right, yes, victory. So she lives. Harry ran away because he done decided to go home and set his neighbor yard on fire. He and his neighbor done got together, set the yard on fire, and tried to put it out. So his daddy mad. I don't understand how there's never been a time where I did something and my parent was upset with me and I had time to run away. I didn't have time to escape because they was right there on me. There's never been a time. But this boy had enough time to get on down across town to the fire station and sit with Bobby. And he tells Bobby, my daddy's upset with me, so I'm gonna sit here. Bobby get ready to call the daddy. The daddy storms in. Bobby like, I was just getting ready to call you. I just got back. We just found him. And the daddy mad. And I'm like, it takes a village. I understand that men have all their pride and testosterone and whatever else they got going on. But it takes a village, to raise a child. You should be glad that the boy came to another adult instead of just running the streets somewhere. But he pissed, and you don't raise my son, I raise my son. You're not his dad, and all that hoorah-rah, girl. I ain't got time. So back to the exploding houses. You got a young lady driving down the street, honey. She on her phone or whatever. Something blow up, and the ground, you know, it propels something off the ground into her car, which propels her car into a fire hydrant. And I told my mama, the last thing I'ma do when something is blowing up around me is get out the car. Unless the car look like it's about to blow up too. I'm not gonna get out the car. I'm gonna get in the car. I'm gonna stay in the car, and I'm gonna see what's going wrong and see if I can drive off or what can be done. What can I do? But she done got out the car. Now she's standing in the middle of the street looking around. Look around for what? Anyway, let's see. The little boy's still trapped upstairs. They get the fire team, you know, they get there, and what's his name? Buck. He's up on the ladder, you know, the ladder that comes off the top of the truck. He's up on that, honey, and the ladder just snaps. Just boop. And now he hanging. So he get down because, honey, the ladder put him down. And Eddie takes it upon himself to shimmy up the side of the house like a little spider monkey. He climbs up the house. He busts in the window, honey, finds the boy. The boy done got in the bathroom on the floor. Smoke inhalation. It's not looking great. And he is trying to get him out, but of course the house is engulfed in flames. So now they're trying to figure out the best way. He talking to the captain. The captain tells him they about to have, you know, one of them planes full of water, drop water on the neighborhood, because the whole neighborhood on fire. And what don't make sense to me, and I've been saying for years, ever since I found out about the California wildfires that go on, it does not make sense to me that California does not utilize those particular planes bi-monthly, especially during wildfire season, over the forest. Why would you not just take those a couple tons of water that y'all fit in them planes, fly them over the forest, drop them so that the soil and the leaves and the ground in the forest is wet enough not to catch on fire and burn up everybody's house. It don't make sense to me, and I've been saying this for years. I need somebody to tell me why that wouldn't work. I also need somebody to tell me why they have not done that. Because if I was the governor of California, or even, you know, a president, I would say, California, we need to figure out how y'all can make sure that the ground is moist enough not to catch a flame all the time, which means bi-monthly or every couple months maybe, depending on how, you know, the water absorbs and how warm, you know, it is out there and it evaporates, whatever. We need to dump a plane full of water over the forest to make sure that it's not dry enough to catch on fire. It just doesn't make sense to me. Every year, yeah, we're fighting several fires. 30,000 homes have burned down because of these fires. What are the preventative measures? What measures are y'all taking not to catch this place on fire? Look like California just want to be on fire, because it doesn't make sense to me why they can't do that. Anyway, so the plane flies over this burning house, honey. They drop all that water. Honey, it was a rushing mighty ocean of water. And the fire gets put out. They walk on out the house. The boy, I said, Lord, did he drown? It would be horrible to drown in a house fire. He didn't drown. And he coughs a little bit and wakes up. And of course, he's going to have to go to the hospital because smoke inhalation will kill you. It'll kill you worse than a fire. So they're going to have to, you know, treat him and figure out what all is going on. Let's see. What also got on my nerves, it looked like that house blew up 3 times. Looked like it blew up 3 times. Everybody else's house blew up once. These folks' house blew up three times. Anyway, so Harry gets back home. I'm so confused as to how they raising these children. Because if I had set my neighbor's yard on fire earlier in the day, ran off from the house later in the day, and even later in the day, this boy done made dinner. Like, I'm trying to understand how they raising these kids. Because there is no way, absolutely no way that I would have had the freedom, the liberty to step outside of my room and make dinner. I wouldn't have been able to walk because I'd still be reeling from that butt whooping I got. Honestly. You done burnt the neighbor yard up, and you left the neighborhood, ran on down yonder to the fire station, ain't told nobody where you at. See, that would have got the worst whooping. Burning up the neighbor's yard, that's a little rat-a-tat-tat on the behind. Leaving the designated area where you supposed to be, my mama would have beat the legs off of me. I would be sitting around like Lieutenant Dan, rolling around like Lieutenant Dan with no legs. My mama would have beat the back. I would just be ahead. Child, the ghetto. But this boy done took the liberty to make waffles for dinner. And now he got to explain to his mama what done happened, child. Homosexual father shows up to apologize to firefighter father. And they have ice cream and talk about how homosexual father, because I can't remember his name, and his boyfriend broke up. And now he's sad. I don't know, girl. Anyway, they apologize to each other. Last thing we see, Ghost Whisperer and Chimney having dinner, or she stabbing her pasta. She ain't put 1 fork full of pasta in her mouth, and I was upset. You don't waste good food like that. But she basically breaks up with him. She's like, we'll never be the same. After what happened, we will never be the same. And we just need, time apart. And Chimney's like, what? Just time, right? Because he can't catch a break. He can't get a girlfriend. He can't not be mortally injured. Like, he just, poor fella. And they kiss and separate. And I'm just like, maybe not being the same is for the better. Like, you won't know until you try. Anyway, girl, that was 911. I'll call y'all later for something else. Peace.